Good morning. It is 1:35 here on the west coast of the United States, AM. Pretty early. So I just got home. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I did not just get home. I got home a long time ago. But earlier today, or million corrections to every statement, yesterday in the evening. Wait, no. Let's correct all that. Yesterday. What was yesterday? Tuesday? I think so. Tuesday the 10th, I went to the beach with my parents. Kind of a late Mother's Day celebration. We didn't do anything Mother's Day because I was out of town. And thought I would see if Mom wanted to go to the beach, and she did. And of course, Dad went along as well. It was a perfect day, which is rare for north coast of Oregon, especially this time of year in the spring. It's usually raining. But, you know, and like every other day, like before and after, today was forecast to be raining. So we took advantage of the break, and it was awesome. No rain, pretty warm, a little bit, you know, not like, actually perfect for me. I don't like it super hot. It was awesome weather. So mostly what we did is just kind of walked along the beach. We had lunch down there at a restaurant, had some seafood, but mostly we just kind of did some beach combing. There's a lot of cool rocks there, which is kind of rare also from my experiences at the beach. Like, oftentimes I go to a beach that's pretty populated, and the beaches are just like pure sand because it seems like probably people like pick up all the rocks, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, this beach we were at had a ton of cool rocks, so we were just like staring at the ground the whole time. And so my mom and I brought a bunch of rocks. I have my rocks here. She has hers, whatever. But I'm gonna show my rocks. This is a weird stream, totally weird. Although this kind of is a good demonstration. I'm happy to do this because it demonstrates more clearly what I'm all about, which is total random variety streamer. I know I've made a start and quite a long sequence of bookbinding episodes, but that's not all that I do. I used to do a lot more variety. I actually started out as a music streamer, not a musician at all, but back in 2019, I think. It's 2018 or 2019, somewhere around there. I decided I wanted to learn piano. And, well, actually, I've always wanted to learn piano, but I've just never done it. But I thought one way to motivate would be to play piano on stream. Whole thing was new to me. Live streaming was kind of foreign, but I don't remember how I got attached to that idea. Like, I'm not at all part of the streaming culture. Prior to that, I didn't watch live streamers, anything. But anyway, I just decided, you know what, I could live stream this and maybe some people would show up and keep me company or just make it more interesting. So yeah, I started out as a piano practicing live streamer, and from there I just did all sorts of stuff. I've done bookbinding for I don't know how many years, maybe 10 years, probably not that many, but maybe more. I don't know. I don't actually have a beginning date in mind. Anyway, I've done bookbinding for quite a while, so I decided that would be another thing I could stream. I've done soccer ball, juggling streams. I've done a lot of hiking streams. I do gaming streams occasionally, but usually if I do, it's either retro gaming or kind of cartoony indie games, stuff like that, Lego games, etc. I don't do a lot of that, but you never know what I'm gonna do. I do other content as well. Anyway, today I'm doing something completely different, something I've never done in the 3 years that I've streamed. And that is, I also do photo editing and stuff like that on stream. But this time I'm going to be looking at rocks through a microscope. Never done it before, but I've actually been wanting to do this for a long time. I actually had a more legit reason to recently purchase a digital microscope. I was actually going to use it for my work a little bit, but I also wanted to have it just kind of for fun. And it's not something I was really aware of existed until recently, when I just kind of looked up like, hey, I wonder if they have digital microscopes these days, because I had a microscope when I was a kid, you know, standard school type microscope, cheapy one, but it, you know, it worked pretty good. And even I figured even if they don't have digital microscopes, which I figured they would, they probably have a way to attach a camera to a standard microscope. Anyway, these days they have these things. This type of microscope is pretty common. It's maybe hard to see, but it's basically like a cylinder. Like a, what would I compare that to? I don't know. It's basically just a small cylinder instead of like having the huge stage thing with like 3 lenses and whatnot. I can't remember what those are called. Just the kind that you would have at a lab or school. They have these simple cylinders that just have a adjustable focus in them, and then you just move it up and down. Unfortunately, it doesn't like have a legit zoom, so it's kind of a set zoom, and you basically achieve your zoom by moving it closer to the object. And the focus also changes the zoom a little bit, but it's not like the old school microscopes that have like different lenses with different powers and stuff. So anyway, it's a little bit new to me, and it's not like you can't see like bacteria and you know, like plant cells or tiny things like that, but it does magnify quite a bit. Anyway, so what I'm going to do today is just take out my rocks that I found today at the beach, or yesterday, I guess, now that it's after midnight, and just kind of look at them in the microscope, see what we see. The one thing I don't like about this microscope, it's a very cheap microscope, by the way. I did a fair amount of research at all the various models available, and settled on this one. But I was looking at pretty much the budget ones because I didn't feel like I could justify spending hundreds of dollars on something that's kind of just kind of for fun. I mean, I'm also going to use it for a business purpose, but it's not that important. So I was looking in like the $50 or less kind of price range, which sounds crazy to buy a microscope for that cheap. But they actually have microscopes for like $20. And I think this one was between 20 and 30. I think it was low 20s, which is insane. And it's like a decent one for the price. Like I looked at all the ones that were cheap on a few different websites. And this one can shoot 2K video, which is cool. Most of them are 1080p. Some of them are even lower than that. But you can also take photos with it. But mainly I wanted it to like for streaming and to take videos and stuff, so that was more what I was looking for, and to be able to shoot 2K for like $20 is pretty nice. So anyway, so what we're looking at here, it's kind of hard to see. Like I set up a dual camera thing, just kind of quick like. So what you're seeing above my head on the window, just kind of that dark area, is what I'm actually looking at. Is this weird oval thing. It's a shell, so if I bring it out here you can see a little bit better. So it's a shell with you know, kind of iridescent texture on it. One of the things I was going to say, I don't know if I cut myself off or what, but one of the things I don't like about this microscope is that it doesn't allow me to change the exposure, like set manual exposure, which is kind of annoying. So it's kind of overexposed a little bit for my taste anyway. Let me get this here. So I would prefer it to be a little bit darker, but actually maybe I can play around with the exposure in OBS just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have any kind of manual exposure adjustments either on the thing, like there's no buttons on it that do anything, and then there's no like when you set it up as a USB camera, it also doesn't have any like exposure controls in OBS and other programs. So it's just kind of automatically adjusting the exposure like a automatic camera would. So anyway, it's kind of annoying, but you get what you pay for, I guess. It's not a big deal. But let me see if I can maybe make that look a little bit more vivid or something. Let me see. It looks a little bit bland. I can adjust the colors just a tad here. I should have done this before I started, but it's alright. Okay, so just a little bit of saturation, I think. And maybe a little bit contrast. Too much. Don't want to overdo it. Let me see. Let's move this around here and see what it looks like. That's a little bit better. Something like that. Alright, let's try that. Okay, that should be good. So yeah, some of these things, you know, I think it's just cool textures. Like looking at it through a microscope, you see stuff that you can't really see with your naked eye. Just some of the weird textures, and I thought that might be interesting to stream. It's kind of hard to keep this thing in focus though, because as I'm moving this around, the distance between the shell and the camera is changing a little bit, and it's really got a really narrow depth of field, like a really high macro lens, or I mean like a really close macro lens. But see, I'm catching some of the iridescent quality, which I think is pretty cool. This looks like a digital effect or something. But if you don't move it around, you don't really see it. Like, you gotta change the angle and get it to reflect just at the right spot. Yeah, I don't want to spend all day looking at every single rock, unless it's like really cool, which I thought this was kind of interesting. But so there's that shell. Let me just kind of look at each little thing quick. Here's another shell, similar. See if there's anything interesting in it. This one's not as pearlescent. I guess there's a pearlescent area over here. Let's see if I can catch that. There we go. Kind of cool. Let's see what else we got. I didn't get a ton of shells. I got a few. I was more interested in the rocks I was looking at. I got a lot more rocks than shells. Some of them are going to be hard to show on camera though. This one is pretty basic. You can see it a little bit better if I just kind of put it out here on the table over here. You pointing at it on the left part of the stream. Kind of see what the total object looks like. Here's the back side of the shell, or the outside, and then the inside is kind of why I got it. Just kind of the cool, creamy or iridescent stuff. This one's not as cool as the other ones. I don't know. Just, you could take, like, if you had a microscope that took really high resolution images. This one takes, I want to say it's only like, I don't know, I don't remember offhand, but I want to say it's only like 3 megapixels. It's not very high resolution. I actually ordered another microscope just because I'm kind of a little bit fanatical about this hobby right now. I don't know why. Probably won't last that long, but it's just kind of a fun thing to explore, play around with right now. So I ordered a little bit better microscope because this one was only $20, so I decided I was going to get a little bit better one. That one hasn't arrived yet. But that one can take, I think it's like 48 megapixel photos, which is insane. And it also does 4K video, which is cool. But this one's actually more practical, even though it's only $20, really cheap, basic. It's kind of more practical because it's more portable. You can actually take this anywhere. Like I could take it just wherever. I don't have to be like at home with my computer. You can actually hook it up to a phone, like an Android or Apple or whatever, iPhone. So I could actually live stream IRL out and about. And it's like, since it's USB, you can just hook it up to your phone and it draws power from your phone. So anyway, kind of cool. The only thing that's kind of unfortunate about it is it's not Wi-Fi. Some of the other cheap ones, like there's another like $20 one that's very similar to this one. You can do Wi-Fi and then you don't have to actually attach it physically to your phone, and that way you can charge your phone via USB and also power the microscope separately, which would give you more battery life and a longer ability to use it out in the field. But anyway, no big deal. If I really wanted to, I could get another $20 microscope and have that capability. Anyway, so there's that little shell. Here's another. I think I'll just start with the shells and then move over to some rocks and stuff. So just to kind of, let me see, how would I show that? I think, do I have my light here somewhere? Didn't really strategize how my camera angles would work with this stream before starting. I just kind of threw it together because I wanted to get the stream happening before the night was over. So I guess if I turn this light on, get it to more of a neutral tone. I can probably get this to focus. So yeah, kind of difficult, but ooh, that's gonna be annoying. There we go. Nope, I don't know. So there's what the shell looks like without the microscope. And then let's see if there's anything interesting to look at under the microscope. It has some of the iridescent stuff over on this corner, which is cool. It's like my favorite part. And it's really hard to capture that color too. That's showing the disadvantage of this particular microscope, not being able to adjust manually the exposure is kind of limiting. But because then I could darken it quite a bit and just put directed light, because I'm using like the microscope. You can see like this big ring of light here. It has built-in LED lights that are pretty bright and they're pretty good. But like if you really want to get a good lighting and controlled lighting, you would have separate lights on the sides or something and just turn the lights off on the microscope. But if I do that with this microscope, it kind of messes up the exposure. So yeah, anyway, that looks pretty cool though. But yeah, with that 48 megapixel camera that I have coming eventually, I can just take like really close-up shots of this stuff, and I don't know, I just think it would be cool photography, just like stuff to use for digital textures or stock photography or something. It's just cool angles that you don't normally see with close up on the objects, textures and things. Like I could see using that as even like a stream background or just something, you know, whatever. Pretty cool stuff. Almost looks like an abstract watercolor painting or something. There's that one. Is there anything on the other side? Nah. Here's just a smooth shell, just kind of a white shell. It just has some lines on it. I probably won't look at that one under the microscope because it's not that crazy interesting. It's just really smooth. One of the cool things about most of the rocks, or pretty much all the rocks that I saw today, is that they're naturally I don't know rock terminology at all. I don't I don't really collect rocks, and I don't know anything about that hobby or whatever, but I know that you can smooth rocks out in like tumblers that I think you put other rocks in there or sand or something, and it kind of grinds down the edges so they're really polished and smooth. But all of these rocks from today and the shells as well were naturally polished because I guess just being tumbled in the sand. And the sand in this beach is really rough too, which I actually brought a little bag of sand home with me too because I wanted to see what that looked like in the microscope. So I'll look at that later if I remember. Hopefully I have it here in my bag, otherwise I'll probably forget. Yeah, it's in my bag. Okay, good. So, yeah, they're all like really smooth. It's kind of cool. It's like they don't even need to be smoothed out. So this one is just I guess it'd probably be an agate. You can kind of see through it. Let's see what that looks like under the microscope. Might not be that interesting, but you never know. I need like some kind of tool to move things around a little bit more gently. Let's see. Hope I can use one of my bookbinding thingies. Or a mechanical pencil, that'll work. Yeah, see how this is a little bit overexposed for my taste. I would probably make a light on the side and light it that way, or like I could probably simulate that a little bit by maybe doing this, just turning this light off on the microscope and then turning this one on. So this is I think this looks better when you have light coming in from the side. Let's see if I can turn that brightness up. It does have to be pretty bright because the exposure is compensating quite a bit. I don't know. And since I can't manually change the exposure, I have to like do some weird stuff with lighting. But yeah, just like changing the angle of the light, you get different shadows and it shows the form a lot better than just having a straight on light. It's like when you if you do any photography, if you like use a flash, in my opinion, flashes almost always look really stupid. Totally artificial. The lighting just doesn't look good. So I always like to control the lighting by directing it from the side or something. It'd probably also look really cool if I could get a light underneath this, because then you could see it kind of glowing through because it's translucent agate. Anyway, you get kind of the idea. It's not like super amazing, but kind of cool. So yeah, when I turn the light off, it's still trying to compensate the exposure, so it's probably raising the ISO to like 6,000 or some crazy thing. I don't know. Looks really grainy, but okay, so queso. This one's pretty cool. It's a little shell. See that little shape there, and it has a little bit of shiny stuff in the middle too, a little bit iridescent stuff. So let's look at that under the microscope, see what we see. I think I'm gonna, just for simplicity, go back to using light on the microscope, even though I don't really like how it looks, but it's just too hard to mess around with that otherwise. Not sure what that little black thing is there. It's either some kind of particle on there, or is like a hole going through the middle. I think it's just some kind of particle on there. Ooh, look at my look at how flaky my skin is. That's terrible. I guess because I was like doing so much with I think I can give you two pretty good explanations. I was like messing around with the sand at the beach, so that definitely dried it out. But mostly, I think what that is the bookbinding stuff. Handling that glue really dries out your skin. It's funny to see that. Probably not the most appetizing thing ever. But it's interesting, things that you just kind of take for granted. Look at them up really close to the microscope and it's just like a whole new world. That's why I kind of thought this would be fun and interesting. Something different to do. See if the other side looks interesting at all. So many cool colors inside. It's crazy to think that an animal actually makes these things. I don't get it. So much detail for such a small thing. And that shiny stuff, like crazy. What makes that happen? It's insane. There's my fingernail. Look how huge that is. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's see what we got else. A few more shells. I'll just run through these real quick to see if there's anything interesting. Here's the outside of the shell. A little bit of texture there, and then the inside is always the most interesting to me because it has the purple and blue colors and a little bit of iridescent stuff going on. It's insane to think that something like a snail or a slug or whatever these, or I guess it's more like a clam, probably a clam or oyster or whatever, clam, mussel, I don't know, one of those things makes this just out of nothing, you know? All that detail and color. And here's another little shell. This one has a nice outside to it. The rings going around. Almost looks like a atmosphere of a planet or something. Let's see what the backside of the inside looks like. Kind of a soft purple. A little bit overexposed in the microscope colors there, but it's pretty nice purpley color. Okay, here's another interesting little shell. See if I can show this before I put it under the microscope. So it almost looks like a acorn or some kind of nut or something. Interesting colors on it. There's a couple little rocks inside of there. I could pull those out eventually if I want. Let's see what we got there. Actually, I don't know. It could be there could still be part of the animal in there. One of them had like a weird fleshy looking stuff in it. One of the ones I found. But this one looks like it just has little rocks inside. But who knows? Maybe there's a little crab or something hiding in there that's just it's like pulled those rocks in to protect itself. I don't know. Probably not though. That'd be crazy. That would totally freak me out if some little arms started wiggling and coming out of there. It'd be hilarious. I do actually have a little surprise coming up next, or pretty soon. Something like a living organism, except that it's not alive anymore. Okay, so there's that shell. What else do we got here? Oh, I think this one is my favorite shell piece because it's really shiny iridescent stuff on there. But once again, the exposure is not going to cooperate perfectly, but yeah, we'll see. Kind of get a basic idea. I don't know how durable this pearly stuff is. Like if you know how thick that coating of that shiny stuff is, if it just wipes off or scrape it off, or if it goes like deep throughout the whole structure of the shell. I'm not sure. That's pretty cool looking. This one was particularly shiny. Wish I could alter the color to be a little bit more vibrant and not so washed out, but like I said, this cheapy microscope doesn't have any manual exposure controls, so it kind of just does its own thing. Alright, so there's that area right there is probably my favorite, just kind of cool splash of color. Alright, what else do we got here? There's a couple little rocks. I might skip over some of these if they don't look that interesting. Just maybe show them on lit up here. It's kind of I don't know if this would be considered an agate or not. It has maybe some translucency to it. I'll probably not show that one under the microscope though. And then here's another. Oh, this one could be interesting. Just to see that texture on there. Let's take a look at that real quick. I don't know what makes something an agate. Whenever I see something that's kind of has a little bit of light transmission, I think maybe it's an agate, but like I said before, I don't collect rocks at all. I don't know anything about the terminology or the minerals or whatever. Let me see if I can get any closer and get really close. See some of those details. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Almost looks like little flecks of gold in there. Obviously it's not gold, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But yeah, the capability of the microscope really doesn't have much to do with actual zooming. Like it's not like a, like an SLR camera where you rotate the lens and it zooms in 10 or 20 or 30 times, but depending on your lens power, whatever. Or a point and shoot is more likely to do that, but you know what I mean? Like, it's more just you move it closer to it and then it gets bigger, kind of a zoom. That's kind of cool, little speckly, almost like shiny in there. Alright, so there's that one. Okay, so now I'm going to show what I think will be pretty cool. I found this little, I need like a pair of tweezers or something to pick this up, which I do not have. Oh, how can I grab that without messing it up? Might just have to grab it with my fingers. Hopefully it's not too unsanitary, but it's actually like a formerly living thing. You'll see in a minute. I'll have a couple more rocks here, but I'll show this first. Let me see, what can I use to pick it up? Maybe just this piece of paper. Alright, this might be the kind of the highlight of my finds today, and not because it's the coolest thing, but it's just probably the most interesting thing to look at in a microscope situation here. So I believe this is a little shrimp. That's what it looks like. Hopefully it's not too creepy for you. I think it's just kind of cool. Kind of weird when you think of eating a shrimp like this with all those, almost looks like an insect or something. All those legs. Very small. It looks huge on screen, but it's actually smaller than a thumbnail or something. That's kind of cool, I think. Cool and creepy at the same time. You'll notice a lot of like, I don't know, cartoons and movies and whatever get a lot of ideas from like these kinds of things, like enemies in video games, stuff like that. Draw inspiration from crustaceans and stuff. It's funny how different shapes just kind of look creepy, but there's nothing really creepy about it. It's just a different kind of creature. It just, for whatever reason, certain shapes look kind of creepy. But I've never really been creeped out too much by like insects. There's we do have one kind of insect in our house that's really gross that it doesn't necessarily creep me out anymore. It used to like freak me out when I saw it. But we don't have any major insects where I live. We don't have like tarantulas or scorpions or cockroaches or anything gross like that, which I'm thankful for. But we do have a few kind of gross things, I guess. Okay, so these ones I'm just going to show. I don't think there's any reason to show them on the microscope, but this one is just kind of a funny shape. Looked like a face. Got side profile of the face. I just picked that one up. And let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this one I definitely want to look at under the microscope. It has some really weird shapes to it, or textures. Look at those little weird rings. Strange. Not seen a rock like that before, so let's see what that looks like. Almost looks like some kind of living fossil or something inside there. It's weird. Yeah, if there's anybody that happens upon this stream, I'm going to post it on both Odysee and YouTube. If anybody watches this and they know stuff about various rocks or organisms or shells that I've displayed on my stream, feel free to fill us in the comments, like give timestamps and say that was this mineral or this kind of rock, or it's like, what's that yellow stuff? That's a different kind of material than the white stuff, obviously. You know, if anybody has any expertise on that, I'd be interested to hear. Not that I'm gonna remember any of that or anything, but it's kind of interesting for other people to learn something. I just like to look at stuff. I don't really know much about it. I just think it looks interesting, so why not? once again we have something that kind of looks almost like little pieces of gold in there, but obviously probably not what it is, but still looks cool. Alright, it's also kind of translucent, like I think if I shine light from the backside it would sort of show through there. Okay, so that's my first little bag of goodies. I'm probably going to throw that shrimp away. I might take a few close-up pictures of it, but I don't really need to keep that one. It's just going to disintegrate over time, I suppose. Okay, maybe I'll save the sand for last. Some of these I'm probably not going to do the microscope on. I'll just kind of show quickly in the camera up here. So this one was just kind of an interesting rock, I guess, just a different weird shape. Nothing really that special about it, honestly, but I thought it was interesting enough to pick up. Let's see, what else do we have here? This one has a little bit of, you know, kind of cool texture to it. Some little cracky things, but actually the main reason I got this one is because I collect heart-shaped rocks for my mom. It's just kind of a hobby I do. Like on all the hikes that I go, I try to find a couple of these on the ground. So that's actually why I picked this one up. Not so much that it is particularly interesting texture or anything, but it's heart shape. Get this in focus so it doesn't visually distract from the stream. That's just the quartz or whatever table that I have here. Just a black. It's actually black, but it's this camera so overexposes everything that it doesn't look black. Looks green and brown and stuff. This one is kind of interesting. Different, like two different rocks coming together. I think though, I don't know what this stuff is, but we found a lot of rocks that you could just break with your hands, and this looks like it might be one of those too. If I dug into it with my fingernails, I could probably chip away at it. So I don't know if that'll last very long. Saw quite a few rocks like that today. This is just a kind of a smooth tan colored rock. Nothing particularly interesting, I guess. Let's see. This one's kind of cool. Just has several different colors mixed. But yeah, most of these aren't interesting enough to look at through the microscope. This one might be. This has more texture to it. Maybe I'll take a look at that one. Seems to be a recurring theme of this yellow stuff. I don't know if that's all the same across these different rocks or different minerals that are all just happen to be yellow. Part of that's also just overexposing. It really shouldn't be that bright on camera, but I don't have any way to control that, unfortunately. Maybe I turned the saturation up a little bit too high when I was messing around in OBS. Let me check that real quick. I don't know. Might be still probably a little bit too saturated, but trying to like make it darker, but just turning down like the gamma, and it tends to oversaturate when you do that. Let's see, what else do we have? Whoops. This one's kind of cool. It's like a bunch of different... It's like a bunch of different rocks all together or something. Might take a quick peek on the microscope on that one. You know what these remind me of? Probably not too many people would know what I'm talking about, but I can't remember the exact name, but I've used graphic software for a long time, like probably 30 years or so. I don't know, something like that. And one of the first programs I started with back when I was a teenager was CorelDRAW, which is still around, but it's not quite as popular as it used to be, I don't think. Not as many people probably know about it, but now everybody uses Adobe products, it seems like. But even back then, Adobe was around. But actually, I think Corel's been around longer than Adobe. They kind of did a lot of cool stuff before Adobe ever did. But anyway, they used to have these texture fills. I don't remember what they were called. Some kind of procedurally generated textures, and these some of these rocks actually remind me of those textures. But you could totally take like a high resolution shot of these rocks and use it for like textures in a video game or 3D renderings. You know, if you needed some alienish looking rock textures or something. Pretty cool. Speaking of Alien, this song kind of sounds like an Alien song. Not sure what it is. What is it? Oh, something. Zombies ate my neighbors. Okay, so it's from that game. All the songs that I play on my stream are from mostly old video games. So here's a little rock. Or actually, this might be a smoothed out shell. I'm actually not. Yeah, I think so. It has that iridescent texture to it. A little bit. There's a few little rocks, nothing really spectacular. Probably won't show those. Maybe this one could be interesting. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that I can't get the... I mean, I'm really sensitive to color. 'Cause I've been doing graphic design and web design and all sorts of computer work for so long that, like, whenever I see the colors not matching reality, it, like, bugs me. But this isn't really the true color of this thing. It's actually more of a brown than in the yellow. It does have little yellow, more like golden veins in it, I guess, but not quite the right color. And I don't have a way to adjust the exposure to get it be more accurate. It's not terrible though. It's not too bad. Alright, here's one Probably kind of interesting to look at. Almost looks like a piece of like cement or concrete, which it is possible, you know. There are sometimes pieces of concrete that get mixed in the ocean. I don't think that's actually what this is, but it could be, I guess. And then it gets smoothed out, you know, so it is possible that's what this is. But I think it actually has like almost looks like it has little fossils in it or something. See if I can see those up close. Oh wow. Didn't expect all that color and variety there. This is the thing that from just my naked eye looks almost like a fossil. Not sure what that is. Yeah, look at all those tiny individual rocks embedded in there. Each one of those little pebbles is indescribably small, like probably smaller than a pepper kernel. Maybe a little bit bigger than a salt grain, but not much. Definitely smaller than rice, way smaller. Like more like probably fine grain pepper is probably about how big those things are. So yeah, under the microscope they look pretty big. Pretty cool. Let's see what the other side looks like real quick. It's almost like sand that got compressed really heavily into just a single rock formation. If I could zoom in more, it'd be pretty cool to look at some of those individual pebbles, because some of them are like almost like pieces of glass or something. Look at that green one kind of in the center. Looks kind of cool. And that, I wonder if I can point at things. Probably my pointer. So this is maybe this will give you a good size comparison. See that? That's the end of a mechanical pencil. Look at how big that is. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So this one's pretty cool right there. There. Like a little pearly looking thing there. It's hard to point at it because it's so small. Oh, if I could find my my bookbinding. Oh, it's crazy how much you vibrate. Like you don't think, like you feel like you're holding really still, but when you look at your finger through a microscope, you realize how shaky you are. Let's see the point of an awl. Let's see how. Oh wow, that doesn't even look sharp. It looks blunt. It's actually really sharp, and I use it to poke through papers for my bookbinding stuff. But the end of it looks kind of dull under the microscope. Interesting smooth edge there. Almost looks like bone or something. Anyway, that one's kind of cool. I forgot or didn't expect it to have all that texture. So what else do we have here? I think a lot of these I'll just go over quickly because they're not probably microscope worthy, but they are interesting. I might look at that bottom one because it looks like it has a bunch of texture. That top one is more just kind of cool because it has an interesting shape, but I don't think it probably is interesting under the microscope. Maybe I'll just take a look at that dark bottom pepper colored looking thing. See what it looks like. It might be kind of similar to that last one. All the little speckles. It's definitely different from the other one. Almost like crystal geometric shapes to those little pieces. Oh wow, look at that on the top. Oh wow, that's awesome. Look at how shiny that is. It's crazy. That's cool. Okay, let's see what else we have here. This is a weird live stream. I bet you've never seen anything like this and probably won't see it again unless somebody copies it and it's like, oh, that's cool. I could do that way better than. Yeah, maybe there's some rock showing streams. I don't know. I've never seen any. So these, a couple of these, actually the top three look like agates to me. At least they have translucent aspects to them. That reddish one or orange one looks pretty cool. I think the bottom one I just saved because it had weird shapes and stuff. So I probably won't look at those close necessarily. That's probably the faster, easier way to go. Just put them all in my hand and take a quick look and then maybe inspect the more interesting ones under the microscope. Probably just this one here. It looks similar to those other ones I was just looking at, but I'll take a quick peek. See if it has anything different. It looks like it has some shiny things on it. I don't know, that's weird. I mean, I know there's like iron pyrite and other things that look similar to gold, but like some of those little pieces look like gold. Like, let's see if I can point it out. To get my keyboard out of the way there. Whoa. It's like this stuff right here looks kind of like goldish. Probably some kind of metal in there. And that stuff's cool. I don't know what that is either, but I like that shiny stuff. I like the shiny stuff. Oh, wow, it's like almost like a red reflection in that black area down there in the bottom. Catch it at just the right angle. That's some shiny stuff right there. Technical term used by the modern geologists. Shiny stuff. There's anything interesting on the other side. So much variety of color. Like, just picking it up, it just looks like pretty much a gray rock with maybe some black speckles. You take a closer look and see all that orange and quite a variety. The shapes are so interesting too. Like each little piece of different mineral is like very unique shape. I wish I could zoom up even closer, but this is a pretty low, relatively low power microscope. Probably would see some crystal structures in there if you got close enough. Okay, let's get another little handful, see if there's anything worth looking at. Oh, here's this handful has my, I think my favorite rock find of the day. See that one on the bottom, like kind of in the palm? Like there's that one with the little white dots that's kind of cool too, but I like that reddish one on the bottom. I want to look at that one, see what it looks like. And then I have a couple sort of heart-shaped rocks. Like I said, I collect those for my mom. It's kind of a tradition when I go outdoors. If I find one, she has a pretty big collection. Mostly thanks to me. Okay. So this is probably my favorite rock of the day. It just looks cool even to the naked eye, and so maybe it'll have some interesting stuff in the microscope also. It just has lots of color. Variety. Almost like a gradation of from orange to red to almost a purpley color. Plus it has a bunch of holes in it too. Of course the stupid microscope kind of washes it out. Overexposes it. I don't know what that green thing is. Can't really. I can just only barely see it in reality. So small, but I can definitely see it in the microscope. And then like on this end of it, there's like some stuff wedged inside of there, some kind of weird, almost like slimy looking stuff, but it's probably just like kind of a green rock in there. Whoa, look at that. Almost look like a crystal on the end of there. It's probably just a piece of silica or glass or something, but man, that looks cool. See if I can get any closer to that thing on the end there. It's really hard to manage this microscope. I ordered a stand for it to hopefully make it a little bit easier to zoom up on things. Wow, that's really interesting. A little bit overexposed, but still pretty cool looking. Anyway, that's probably my favorite one of the day. And it is cool under the microscope, but you don't even need a microscope. It just looks cool, like in person, just to the naked eye. Just has some cool color gradations. Oops. Really small, but packs a punch for being so small. All right, get another handful. I got a lot of stuff, so try to get through these quicker. And then I can't remember. Oh, I wanted actually probably the final conclusion or finale or whatever you want to call it is probably going to be the sand that I got, because that'll be interesting to look at up close. Here's another handful. That one with the little white dots is kind of cool. I might take a look at that one, and then maybe that those two kind of in the center at bottom, because they look like they have weird textures. So I'll take a quick look under the microscope on those three. That big one with the dots in it might not be that interesting, but yeah, we'll see. I get up kind of high for that. Might not be able to focus. That's interesting. Almost like swirly textures in the gray stuff. I'm having a hard time focusing, but yeah, it's like weird swirly curvy lines in the texture, and then that white thing looks kind of pearlescent, I guess. It's really hard to focus on, and it's definitely overexposed. Not much I can do about it. See if any of the other dots look interesting. Oh wow, look at how much. It's like almost like a pearl or something. It's weird. I don't know if any of these things are like formerly alive, like if these are, you know, fossils, or if they're just minerals. I don't really know much about this stuff. Just have to kind of make guesses based on what you see until some expert shows up and tells us all what these things are. Way overexposed though, nothing I can do about it. Alright, that's probably good for that. And then this one I think should be kind of cool. There's tons of texture to it anyway. That little orange pebble looks like it's just sitting on there, but I think it's, as far as I know, it's embedded in there, like this little thing right there. See if I can move it. No, it's like stuck in there. Interesting. Be so funny if some tiny living thing, like a little spider or something, just showed up on the screen. I'd probably like jump because I'm not expecting it. Or some little snail, like a microscopic snail. Alright, let's check the other side. Video's a little bit jumpy. It's hard to like move things slow enough to be smooth. It's like a little piece of glass right there in the middle. Look at those shapes, like those straight lines. It's weird. This one looks like a, see if I can point at it. This one right here looks like a night stick, like the police carry, like a tonfa or something. But these little straight lines are weird. Like a right angle there and here. Interesting. Probably like find like every letter in the alphabet if you search long enough in these. Find every little shape of the letters. Okay, and then let's take a quick look at this one. It seems like there was something interesting I wanted to look at here. Let's see if there's anything interesting about the textures. I think the most common use of these cheap little $20 microscopes is for coin collectors to inspect the coins. Which I actually, that was one of the first things I did when I got this. I haven't used it much at all, this microscope, but I did look at some dollar bills, which are pretty cool. I should pull out some coins just for fun. But maybe I'll do that another stream if I feel like it. Yeah, that one's not too interesting, I guess. Let's see what else we got in here. Try to get bigger handfuls so I can get through these a little bit quicker. Got another heart shape. And a few that might be interesting to take a look at. That one, like right in the middle, that looks kind of ordinary. Just gray. It has a few sparkly things. I might take a look at that. That one on the top is just a heart shape. And maybe this one over here might have some interesting texture to look at. So probably that one with the speckles. This half agate one with the orange stuff could be interesting. Let me see what the other side of it looks like. Probably not too interesting. Yeah, I haven't looked at any real agates under there like that. Maybe I'll just see what it looks like. So these ones I'll look at. And the rest, not so much. Almost looks like a fungus or something. Or like somebody threw an egg at this one here. Seems to be a lot of yellow rocks, or rocks that have yellowish stuff in it. I don't know what that... The only mineral that I know of or think of besides gold that has a yellow color is sulfur, but I know nothing about rocks. I would not guess that this is sulfur. I think it would smell weird if it was. There's probably plenty of minerals that have a yellow color. Okay, let's see if I can see those little sparkles in this one. This one had the... Looks like a pretty ordinary gray rock, but it has these little shiny things in it. That's probably one of them right there. Oh wow, even this one has yellow on it. Maybe it's from all the dogs, the people walking their dogs on the beach. That would be funny. I wish I could zoom up really close on that silvery speck there, because it looks like it has some interesting shapes in it. But that's about as zoomed in as I can go with this microscope. There's some more shiny things there. All right. many more do we got here? Oh, not too many. Looks like I'm almost done. And I want to pull out my bag of sand and just kind of inspect all the little tiny pieces, see what we got. So I'll just have a few small pieces here, and then I'll go to the sand. That little agate coat, yellow thing on the bottom, I'll take a quick look at. And then maybe this one here might be interesting. That's a weird shape on the end there. Almost looks like a cat's eye, like a marble thing. It's weird. Can't seem to quite focus on it, and it's overexposed. That might just be like a lighting effect. No, I think it's an actual physical structure. Interesting. Okay, then I'll take a quick look at this other one here. That kind of dark red one. Oh wow, that has way more color than I expected on the bottom there. It's crazy. Doesn't look like that in real life to me. It might just be overexposed and bringing out all those colors. That's insane. This looks kind of purpley brown to the naked eye, but okay. I think that's maybe all the rocks. Oh, I have one more rock or two more rocks, but they're probably not microscope worthy. Skipping that song. Okay, yeah, I don't think these last two are microscope worthy. Just show them real quick here. Now, for the finale, I'm going to just take a little, maybe if I have a spoon, I'll get a spoonful of sand and just throw it out there. This isn't normal sand. Like, the reason I grabbed some of it is because it has so much, it's big, like the little kernels or whatever you want to call them. Particles are really large, almost like tiny rocks. Just like if you don't look up close to it, it just looks like maybe a coarse sand. But if you look really close, like grab it in your hand and take a picture, it looks like tiny little pieces of glass or rocks. All right, here's a spoon. Oh, there's going to be a big mess if I just pour this out, but gotta do it. Look at that, it's crazy. Like tons of little pieces of glass and then so many different colors of tiny rocks. Oh, look at that. It's like a tooth or something, that long one there. I feel like you could just look at these for a really long time. Like, look at every single piece and never know what you're gonna find in there. I just wish I could zoom in a little bit further. I can go a little bit closer, but not too much. Like each little tiny pebble of sand has massive detail. Crazy. Keep in mind that each of these is probably about a little bit bigger than kernels of pepper. Much smaller than rice, but in between, just a little bit bigger than pepper, probably. That green one there in the middle just has so many different colors in it, and then that brown one next to it with the black and the yellowy stuff. Just so much detail. It's crazy. That green one's cool. Yeah, infinite discoveries are possible in these. Just that there's just one spoonful of sand and have so many different colors and shapes, textures. See if I can get the end of my awl in here, which is kind of like a needle point, just so you can see size comparison. Like there's the end of my needle point. You can see how small those particles are. It's funny how when things are really small, it looks like they're moving really fast. Like when you look at an ant running or something, it looks like it's going crazy fast. And then when you watch movies that depict giant things, like, you know, like those moving mountains in Lord of the Rings that are battling, they always move really slow, and it seems like smaller things jump around, like fidgety movement, and then big things are like really slow and smooth. It's an interesting concept. Pretty cool. I could just stare at that for a long time. I think that's probably good. I think I'm gonna keep this sand, and I'll probably once I get my new microscope later, it has like 48 megapixels. I don't think it's more powerful necessarily zoom, but it's just the fact that it can take really high resolution photos. I'll probably explore some of these rocks a little bit more and take some pictures. I don't think I'll do that on stream or anything, but yeah, to see what kind of pictures I can get. I think I could get some really cool photos. Like just zooming in on one of those particles, you can get these really crazy lens effects. They're so detailed. Alright, I think that's it for the rock show and tell. Here's a little bit more zoomed out picture. See how far up I can get with this thing. Pretty cool, I think. And you can like look over here on the left where my head is and just kind of get a little bit better scale. Oh, that green one's cool right there. Can I point at it? There we go. Right there. That one's cool. See if I can zoom up on that. That would be challenging. I'll lose it if I try to zoom. Yay, rocks are cool. Sand is cool. Okay, I think that's it for that stuff. So the other thing I was thinking to do is just show some of the pictures I took today. Nothing really fancy because I mostly just took pictures with my phone, which never really turn out that great, but may as well just show them real quick since it's part of my stream title. I could do a little bit of photo editing on them. We'll see if I feel like doing that or not. That's funny. I thought this was funny because they're... Oh, let's skip that song. It's distracting. There was a ton of these rocks at the beach that were super fragile. Like you could just break them. So I did this video of me punching this rock just for fun. And I did it in slow motion. I think that might be upside down, actually. Alright, let me get my stream over here. It actually ended up hurting my hand a little bit. Of course, punching a rock is never a great idea, but I just had to try because it looked like, I mean, you can see that it just breaks easily. I'm Superman, I can break rocks with my fist. Studied at Shaolin, obviously. I've been playing around with slow motion videos lately because I've discovered that my phone, I don't know how to do full screen in this app. Let me see. Maybe this is well, let's see, I don't know. I'll skip the videos for now. But yeah, I've been playing around with slow motion video, and actually the little intro video to my stream has one of these, like this one. See, I don't see a maximize button. Is that what this is, maybe? Nope, I don't know. Anyway, it looks kind of cool to see things that you normally take for granted, but you see them slower. Kind of like the microscope, see things closer up. But when you see things that normally move pretty fast and slow them down, you notice details that you might not notice otherwise. But generally it has to be things that go pretty fast. Otherwise it looks kind of boring. Like water can be interesting, but like a waterfall for example, or like a drop of water can be cool to look at. But I don't know, the ocean, you can't even hardly tell it's moving when it's in slow motion. But yeah, that's what I used for the background of my intro. So like, let me show ya. So this thing here, it's just using that video in slow motion as a background with some effects over the top, obviously. Okay, so do I feel like doing any editing on these just for something to do? I don't know. So here was the restaurant that we ate at, had a really nice view. So these are all, most of these are JPEGs from my phone, so they're not like super awesome, but and may not be worth trying to edit, but sometimes you can get a little bit more detail out of things. Highlights are a little bit blown. If I notice like these like clouds right here, it's like pure white there. That's one of the weaknesses of most phones. They tend to blow the highlights. Unless you like purposely compensate for that, which I usually try to, but sometimes I don't notice when I'm taking a quick shot, which is unfortunate. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know if I feel like editing. I'll probably just maybe show these real quick and not necessarily edit them on stream. But I do have a few raw photos that I took with my Sony camera, and I'll eventually edit those, but probably not anytime soon because I have to be in a particular mood to want to do photo editing. So I'll just show these real quick. None of them are super great or anything, honestly. But lunch was yummy. I like doing panoramas. They always turn out cool because then you can kind of see the entire scene instead of just one angle. No, there were sea lions over there, but since I just had my phone camera, I couldn't really zoom in and get any detail, but tons of them. I took some pictures of the rocks that I picked up, but I gave up after a while because I just had so many. I didn't feel like taking a picture of every single one. But these are some of the rocks that we looked at under the microscope. And that's one of those ones that if you kicked it or punched it, you could break it, or you just pick it up and break it in half with your bare hands. There's tons of those. These are all the raw photos that I shot with my Sony camera. I always have to develop these, otherwise they don't look very good. And I apparently didn't clean my lens because there's some massive blotches on there. It's unfortunate, but those are pretty easy to clone out. Alright, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to show those. There's a few videos in there, but they're not really that interesting. I mainly took them because I like to play around with slow motion video a little bit, which I'll probably eventually upload some of my more interesting slow motion videos to my Odysee and YouTube channel and make a special channel for them, or a little playlist, whatever. But most of them don't really turn out that interesting, honestly. It's just kind of something I'm playing around with. It's hard to find things that are worth shooting, and I don't have a super high-speed camera, it's just my cell phone. When I discovered that it can take fairly high frame rate video, I just started playing around with it recently. Anyway, I think that's it. I think, let's see, what else did I have on my agenda? I think that's about it. Yeah, just the microscope stuff. Thought that would be fun to try, and then just show my photos. So probably my next stream I'll get back to bookbinding, unless I can think of some other random thing to do. I might eventually do some IRL streams later this summer, but we'll see. Not sure if I'll do that or not. I kind of got burnt out with that a year or two ago. I was doing, like, I think last year I did like 52 IRL streams in 1 month. It wasn't on Odysee, it was on DLive, but DLive and Glimesh, actually. Anyway, I think I'm gonna actually say actually again. I think I'll take off, but thanks everybody that was lurking. Hopefully there was something that was relaxing or enjoyable or interesting to look at. So I will catch you all later.